Looking for a fast-charging, ultra-responsive stylus for your iPad? Meet the 2X Fast Charge Active Stylus Pen, designed for 2018 to 2025 Apple iPads. Take your creativity and productivity to the next level. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
Donald Trump insists he is not joking over running for a third or fourth term, and says there's method to do it. Donald Trump has vowed to try and become U.S. president for a historic third term as he continues to rip up the political rulebook. The 45th and 47th President of the United States has insisted he is not joking about his desire to serve another 4 years, despite his plan breaching a long-standing constitutional barrier. Trump told NBC he believes there are methods which you could do it, when asked about staying on as Washington's leader. Later in the day, he proudly repeated his claims on board Air Force One as he told reporters he already considers himself to be serving his third term. He elaborated, "I have had more people ask me to have a third term, which in a way is a fourth term because the other election, the 2020 election, was totally rigged." Trump infamously lost out to Democrat rival Joe Biden in 2020, but has continued to allege the result was unfair, went against the wants of the American people. Any plan Trump has in mind will have to bypass the 22nd Amendment, which was added to the Constitution in 1951. It says no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice. The two-term maximum ruling was brought in after President Franklin D. Roosevelt was elected 4 times in a row. No president has gone against the rule since, despite their surging popularity at the time. Both Ronald Reagan and Barack Obama have expressed some regret over only serving 8 years. Trump is yet to detail any loophole he may be looking to exploit to regain the presidency in 2028. But several potential tricks he could apply to see him stay in the White House have already been rumored. Trump was asked by NBC's Kristen Welker if he could use his Vice President J.D. Vance to stay in the top job. She probed the idea of Vance running for president, winning it through Trump's support, and then passing the baton back to the Don. By being the running mate of the incoming president, Trump could conceivably make them resign from their post and allow himself to take over by succession. By definition, the 22nd Amendment only bans a candidate from being elected 3 times. Seemingly impressed by Welker's deduction, Trump responded over the phone, "Well, that's one, but there are others too, there are others." If Trump was to convince the American people and lawmakers to give him a third term, then he would be aged 86 by the time it finished. He will already be crowned as the oldest ever president by the end of his second stint, surpassing Biden's previous record. Trump has joked in the past about running for another term, as he said back in January, "Am I allowed to run again?" when asked about the idea at a House Republican retreat. He has even been greeted at recent public events with huge chants of 4 more years from his MAGA believers. It comes as Trump continues to see his popularity fluctuate at the polls. He has claimed in recent weeks that he is the most loved leader in U.S. history, a remark disagreed upon according to the actual polling data. Trump's favorability rating currently sits at 47%, according to a national NBC News poll. This does mark his best ever rating as president, but it is still a far cry from previous results. Former President George W. Bush reached a massive 90% approval rating after the September 11 attacks, Gallup data shows. His dad, George H.W. Bush, also hit 89% following the Gulf War in 1991. Trump is continuing to draw worldwide attention over his political stance on the Ukraine war, as he looks to help secure a ceasefire deal. He warned Volodymyr Zelensky on Sunday he will be causing a big problem if the key Ukraine minerals deal isn't signed soon. The U.S. president accused his Ukrainian counterpart of trying to back out of the agreement, just hours after he furiously admitted to being ********** off with Vladimir Putin. The U.S. leader threatened to slam Moscow with brutal new sanctions over Putin's repeated calls for Ukraine to elect a new president. Mad Vlad claimed Ukraine needs new leadership, a move Trump warned could derail fragile peace negotiations. The outspoken leader also took out his frustrations on Zelensky later in the day, as he talked to reporters on board Air Force One. He vented, "Zelensky, by the way, I see he's trying to back out of the rare earth deal, and if he does that, he's got some problems." Big problems. The 22nd Amendment makes up part of the United States Constitution. The ruling places a limit on the number of terms a political candidate can serve as the president. It was first made part of the Constitution on February 27, 1951, and stated no individual can be elected to the office of president more than twice. This amendment was introduced following Franklin D. Roosevelt's unprecedented 4 terms as president. His reign is said to have been widely flagged by raising concerns about the concentration of power and increased the desire to formalize term limits. Roosevelt broke the tradition set by George Washington, who voluntarily stepped down after 2 terms. Both Ronald Reagan and Barack Obama have expressed some regret over only serving 8 years.